Good evening. I'd like to call to order the City of West Bend Special Common Council meeting for May 23rd at 5 p.m. Note that we do have a quorum. It's not on our agenda, but I'd like us to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We have one agenda item for consideration. This is discuss process to review and select candidates for the Alderman District 8 vacancy. This vacancy was put in place by the resignation of Alderman Megan Kennedy. I'll start off with our administrator going through, because this is not new to us, some of our options that we have when a vacancy occurs. So take it away.
Thanks, Mayor. Good evening, everyone. You have three options for filling the vacancy. You can choose to hold a special election. You could choose to have the position stay vacant until the next general election in April, or you could choose to host applications, some type of process where you are requesting individuals to apply for the position, and then have a process again of interview or however you choose to do that, and then select a candidate to bring it forward to council for adoption of that process. You have a history of doing the last of the three, and I can answer any questions that you might have, but we're certainly willing to support you all as staff through that process. We have a press release prepared in case you choose to continue that process for the requesting applications, and we'd be prepared to have that go out right away.
Sounds great. I'll open it up. Alderman Kaler.
I will make a motion that we proceed with the same we have in the past, take applications, do the interviews, and appoint someone to fill a vacancy.
Sounds good. Thank you. It's been motion second. Do we want to add some timetables to that? So how long?
What's realistic? I guess we usually give them a couple weeks for applications. Mm-hmm. Maybe not the next meeting, but the following one. I don't know. What do you think?
So the next meetings are
Are we open for discussion?
Well, I just want to make sure we clarify
just want to
the
add
motion
some
first.
timelines to the.
So your motion, the next meeting's the 6th, so you'd be having one, or is that not right?
Well, no,
it is. Yeah. Yeah, so that would give 1 to 2-ish weeks for applications to come in, and that's if we interviewed on the 6th. Is that what you're?
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay. Is there a second? Okay.
I'll amend the motion to say we will take applications until the 3rd, which would be that Friday. Is that correct? And then do the interviews prior to the meeting on the 6th or during the meeting? How do we normally do that?
Mayor, if I may, that if you do that with a timeline, could I suggest that you list a closing time of like 1 p.m. on Friday so it's clear to the applicants that there is an end to it?
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Okay. And then, yes, Alderman Allen.
So if we're going to take, why wouldn't we fill, that's the 3rd, why wouldn't we fill on the 6th? We have in the past filled at the meeting immediately after. So we're looking at actually filling on the 6th? Okay.
Yeah. I think Alderman Kaler was asking you were asking an interview prior to the council meeting, and then we'd appoint at the council meeting. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Alderman Dolick?
Am I the only one? Am I the only one here who would prefer to have a special election? I favor the special election idea because it filters it to the people who are truly interested, who want to do more than just make an application and come here and talk. They'd have to actually campaign. They'd actually have to tell their prospective constituents how they feel about things, which can't be done here in this short interview that we probably will be doing. And I can't believe it costs that much for one district to have a special election.
Jay, do you have a sense for how much it costs to do a special election?
I honestly don't. I think we explored that in the past.
No, we didn't. That question was asked before.
Well, he might have.
And steamrolled by the desire to appoint.
I would guess a few thousand is what I would guess. I have 6,000 in my head from a conversation with Stephanie, but I don't know that for fact. Casey, do you have any sense of that? No.
Plus the timeline. What's a timeline? I mean, you're looking at probably 2 months.
Oh, it would be.
where we're just gonna fill a role for 10 months here and
The problem I see with filling the role is it gives the person that gets that position kind of a unfair advantage when they actually run for election. You know, I'm not saying I'm against the idea of doing interviews and putting somebody on, but I also have some reservations about it just because of that. Now you've got an incumbent basically that was elected by us, not the people of District 7 or 8, sorry.
could be a detriment too, because if they don't perform for 8 months, they could be out real fast.
Yeah.
And look at it both ways.
Incumbents win by a larger margin no matter what.
Alderman Dolnick.
How in the world could it be $6,000? You have a couple of poll workers, and what's the polling place for number 8?
The Cedar Lake.
Do we pay them for that?
Oh, no, it's changed. It's the Masonic Hall, I
That
think.
is correct. You'd have to pay for the rental of the Masonic Lodge as well as paying for the poll workers in addition to any polling
Notices,
supplies
ballots,
needed.
election
Yes.
materials.
Yep.
6 might be strong, Jed, but I can check that if you don't make a decision tonight.
I don't think we have to make a decision tonight.
Any other? Yep. Any
We're
other
open-
thoughts
we're
or
open
discussion
for
on?
dis- Well,
Yep.
yeah, I also would favor the idea of having a special election if it doesn't drag it out too far. You know,
Primary.
would people still have to come up with the statutory number of signatures to get on the ballot? So,
I believe so, right? Yeah.
I don't know. This far into the term is not very far.
It's halfway.
And yeah. Or I mean, you know, the time till the next election, it's still halfway, so. I'd be in favor of a special election, I think. We need, what, two-thirds of the council to actually, if we do the appointment, it requires two-thirds vote of the council.
I think it's just majority. That's how Randy got it, wasn't it?
No,
Was it a 5 to 4?
I believe the code actually states two-thirds.
Okay. Well, any other thoughts or discussion on
Is there
the appointment?
Is there any part of the appointment process that might have been muddy last time? Do we need to include that in a motion, or is that something we can just discuss later? It's just sort of detailed stuff. Yeah.
I would think that if we do first a motion, decide if we're gonna do an appointment, or if that fails, then obviously we'll look and see if we want to do a special election. At that point, I think if we go with the appointment, then I think it's appropriate to discuss the
details,
process
okay.
for interviews, for, you know, whatever the mechanics of the appointment process is.
Some of that was a little messy last time.
Alderman Aaron's? Yep.
Could this be combined with the primary in August?
A special election? It could.
I would think it could, but isn't that waiting? I mean, the whole idea is that's waiting an awful long time
It
to,
is, but it also gives somebody an opportunity to campaign.
Cuts down the cost, too.
Someone just said that it would take a couple of months, and we're already almost into June. Today's May 23rd, so that partner takes us to August.
What day in August is the early August?
So they would win an election in August 9th, then join us for the second meeting in August, just and then collect signatures again December 1st to run for the office again in spring. I'm just saying that's what it's going to look like.
Yeah,
You know, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
As a candidate, that's a little.
That's true. I concede that point.
Yeah. Well, any other thoughts on this particular motion that's on the table? Then I will call for a vote. And again, this is to go through a interview selection process and appointment. Deadline would be June 3rd for the applications, 1 p.m. And then brought back to us for interviews at our first meeting in June, and then selection also that same night. Is that correct, Randy?
Correct.
Okay. Then why don't we just make this a roll call vote just to be sure? Thanks.
Alderman Bushlick,
Aye.
Alderman Allen,
Aye.
Alderman Berquist,
Aye.
Alderman Kaler,
Aye.
Alderman Dolnick,
Aye.
Alderman Aaron's,
Aye.
Alderman Model,
All right.
Okay. Well, that was easier than I thought. So, yeah. They just want to make sure that the discussion happens. So anyway, so if we go that process, we have the same bulk questions that we've been asking, the standard questions every time that we've had these kind of vacancies. And I'm absolutely fine with the council asking additional questions of whoever, comes before us. Were there other things you were thinking, Alderman Model, to add to the process?
Just,
or-
we've discussed this beforehand, and there was some part of the interview process itself that was a little bit problematic. And my brain's a little bit fuzzy on the details, but I remember thinking it was really awkward having everybody in the same room.
Yeah.
If we
And
did
then
not
one
do
at a
that-
time, and then they were
Yeah.
already, whoever came after them heard the questions and stuff, was able to prepare based on that, so.
All four of us
Well-
sat at
Yeah.
that table there, and we
Yeah.
all interviewed, and then you voted, and
Yeah,
it was
But I don't
over.
think we did like round robin style. We brought you up one at a time and interviewed, so that way the person who was later on technically could have had the
I
advantage.
thought we did round robin.
Hey, yeah, you might have. I would like us not to do that if we can.
But I
I don't
think,
remember.
Yep, sorry.
correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, this is a personnel action. Couldn't we go into closed session for the interview itself?
I would defer definitively to Ian on that, but I don't believe so. I don't think this is a closed session opportunity for you.
Okay.
And if I remember right, back the last two processes, you did have all of the candidates for District 8 in the room, and what the mayor was saying is true, that they heard the responses from the other candidates, and then it might have been felt a little awkward. So I think we improved the process for when Alderman
Okay.
Kaler got on, and that was, the round robin took place with all of the candidates. So you can do it however you'd like, but I don't think you can ask them to not be there, and I think that's maybe where Mark's going with the closed session thing.
Yeah, I thought it went well that night. I mean, I wasn't uncomfortable at all. I mean, everybody got asked a question, you answered it, and it's
Yeah,
just
but you
like
were a candidate. You were in a.
right, but it's just
You
like a
weren't somebody
debate.
genuine.
I mean, everybody gets a chance to answer, and you can rebut. First guy got the question, and second guy got the next question, and you all got a chance to answer first.
So I'm saying that I agree that that's an improved process compared to what we did last time with District 8 the first time.
When we filled Megan's seat the first time, somebody, and I don't remember who it was, somebody said, "This is the order we're doing these in." And I'm not absolutely certain, but I think that was the mayor, actually, at that time, did provide the order. And the last person was Megan. And so she sat through three complete people's things. And I have a feeling, by the time she got the same 9 questions, she pretty well knew what people were looking for. And I thought they gave her really an unfair advantage over the 3 candidates prior to her.
Well, and never mind who it is. That gives the last person.
That's why the round robin works well, where
Yeah.
first candidate gets the first question first, then the second one gets the second question first, and you rotate so everybody goes first, and you all answer the same questions in it. I thought that worked well. And then at the end, you each have your vote, and you're done. You give them a chance to do a little bio before it starts, and each speak for 2 minutes or whatever.
Introduction.
Give a quick bio, and then proceed? How did we
It's
do the
better than we did it
questions?
last time, yeah.
How did we do the questions? Were the aldermen write the questions? Did you guys write the questions? Where'd the questions come
Well,
from?
like I said, I think we've been working off the same standard questions for the last 3 appointments. I think there's one additional question that you had added for District 8 about the landfill itself. Yeah.
So tailored a little
That's
bit
about
to the,
it. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that
Alderman Dolnick?
actually, the landfill question came up during the, that was an additional question. It was asked during it wasn't one of the prepared questions.
Well,
It
it's-
was an
yeah.
ad hoc question, but it got asked to each of the 4.
Alderman Dolnick?
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree that this would have to be an open session. This isn't a personnel thing as envisioned by the open meetings law, and I think the problem is we can't tell the candidates. I would prefer it one at a time. It's an open meeting, so we can't tell them they can't come in, but we could ask them.
Ask them not to,
If they
yeah.
would consent to not come in. There's nothing wrong with that.
that's what I was picturing. I didn't know, I
Yeah.
didn't really have any thoughts.
I
about
don't
open
see the
session and
need for
closed session.
that. I mean, that's denying them the right to hear a public meeting.
Well,
It's a public meeting.
it's not denying anybody anything.
Yes,
it's
it
just
is. You're
asking
telling them they can't attend a public meeting.
We're not telling anybody they can't do anything.
No,
We're
I just got
asking them
done
to.
saying that we could ask them.
That makes
to-
no sense to me. It's no different than a debate where everybody goes and,
What?
I said it's no different than a debate or a candidate forum where everybody goes. We've done this how many times it's worked. I don't see where I had any advantage over anybody else other than I had 4 years prior to that. Megan had no advantage. She was a newcomer, had no advantage over anybody.
We're working off applications, but we're not working off a campaign process. It's very different.
Yeah, but you're still listening to them. I didn't campaign at all. So I don't know what you guys are looking for.
Well, it's pretty simple.
You're making it pretty complicated. We're going to
interview Not really. you,
but you can't be in here? I tell you, go fly a kite, I'm coming in. It's a public meeting.
Well, yeah, but there's not a lot of Randys out there.
You want to bet? Ask these, Cliff would be a candidate. Would you have a problem with not being allowed to be in the meeting? All right, there you go, Justice.
Nicely teed up. Nicely teed up.
simple. Deny somebody access to an open meeting. Okay, good luck with that.
Okay, fine, but I'm just not going to let this drop. Quit saying that I asked to deny someone access.
Yeah,
I
nobody's
specifically
asking anybody to
said
deny.
that was not the case.
Yeah.
So if you disagree with me, fine, but don't mischaracterize what I said.
Thank you.
Randy.
You're asking them not to be here, right?
I asked them if they would agree. If they say no, that's fine. Just drop it.
Okay. So we have them submitting applications June 3rd, 1 p.m. When they come, I guess we should clarify, do we want to meet at 5 o'clock before our June 6th meeting to do these interviews?
Yes.
If we have 4 or less candidates, yeah, we might have to either start early or,
Yeah.
I mean,
And then I'm fine with them coming in, doing introductions, then we can round robin, have them answer questions that we have. Any other feedback or ideas for the process?
I'd like to ask that this time we do a secret ballot. Is that acceptable during the process?
I think we
Isn't
did
that
that
how we
last
usually
time.
do it?
Yeah.
We did last time.
Yeah.
We didn't, the first time we did this, when we did Megan, we did not have a secret ballot. There was a motion and only 2 candidates got nominated and then we voted among those 2.
Okay. Well, with Randy, we did do the secret ballot. I'm fine with doing that. Yeah.
We did that last time.
Any other thoughts? All right. Well, we'll get that press release out. I know these guys are already on it, and we look forward to the community stepping up. The more the merrier. I think that helps to make this process even better. So, residents of District 8, please reach out. We would love to have you apply and join our Common Council team. So having no further business for the Common Council, I adjourn by the call of the chair. Have a good night.